It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you?
Hello there. Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to Our Way Mandalorian Review. This is the show where we recap and do spoiler-heavy, and I do mean spoiler-heavy reviews of the latest episodes within the Mandalorian saga. Now, joining me on the council, I am not alone in this journey. Absolutely not. No. Gregory Lee is in the house. Greg, how are you?
Hello. I am back from a galaxy far, far away and a long, long time ago.
I know. It feels great, isn't it?
It's wonderful.
Yeah, also joining us from Nerd Culture, he is part of the Nerdy Gamers section of our channel. That would be the one and only Travis Trollers in the house. Travis, how are you?
General Kenobi, your lightsabers will be a fine addition to my collection. I couldn't do it before because you had me off screen, and you did. I held it in. I held it in as long as I could. As long as I could. Well, congratulations, you've done well. And also,
negotiations
were short.
And also joining us this week, the ratings were so high and the response was so positive, we had to bring him back. The one and only Spencer is in the house. Spencer, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Snaps.
Thanks for having me.
Snaps.
Well, we thank you for being with us. Now, for those of you who are watching us live, or if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for joining us. If you have any thoughts, conspiracy theories, what you think is going to happen within the next season, or what you thought of this season overall of The Mandalorian Season 2, feel free to drop them in the live chat or the comments section. We'd really appreciate it. We look forward to hearing and seeing your thoughts appear in our live chat as we go throughout the course of today's broadcast. Now, I'm going to do this real quick and real simple. The season finale was called The Rescue, and I'll give it to you straight. Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Fennec, Bo-Katan and her crew, they go to Moff Gideon's ship in an attempt to rescue Grogu. They are successful in their attempts to rescue Grogu, but the ending, the last 5 minutes, are some of the most explosive, most shocking, and most well-told pieces of storytelling I have seen in a TV series in several decades, if I have to put my finger on it. To me, this was the best season finale we've seen for a TV series or streaming series yet.
I agree.
Yeah, I was slow clapping when it was over. I was like, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of people going nuts. There were a lot of tears being shed, tears of joy, tears of happiness, tears of shock. I'll give it to you straight. Bo-Katan manages to get her hands on the Darksaber that was previously held by Moff Gideon. Grogu is rescued, but not by who you think it was. Oh, no. The Dark Troopers put our heroes in a corner. They keep them on the bridge. But who comes to their rescue? An X-Wing fighter who in the beginning we're assuming is someone from the New Republic. But no, it's not the New Republic. No. It is 5 years later, after the events of Return of the Jedi, it's Luke Skywalker. Shows up.
Luke!
With his cloak, with his lightsaber that's green, by the way, still green, slicing and dicing his way through every single Dark Trooper that comes within his path.
He wrecked those.
Like paper.
He tears through them like it's nothing. He saves the day, saves everybody, offers Grogu a chance to complete his training. They go off together. Din Djarin takes off his helmet to say goodbye, emotional goodbye, to his best friend Grogu. But the rest of the characters and everyone else, as well as the audience, is still staring in shock at what has just transpired. What is going to happen next? Where's Mandalorian going to go? What's going to happen with Bo-Katan and Mandalore and the Darksaber? What's going to happen with the rest of her crew? What happens with the Republic Marshal known as Cara Dune? Only time's going to tell, and that's not all. That's not all, ladies and gentlemen. If you stayed after the credits, there is something known as a post-credit scene, which included Boba Fett and Fennec killing Bib Fortuna and taking over Jabba's palace that is stationed on the planet known as Tatooine, with a binary sunset, no less. And it seems Boba Fett is going to be running that chapter, that piece of the criminal empire, the criminal underworld within the Star Wars galaxy. Now, I know, right? Lots of fist pumps were going on that day, folks. So that is the recap. That is what happens. We know that Boba Fett's going to get his own spin-off series known as the Book of Boba Fett coming in December of 2021. Mandalorian Season 3 is coming. I enjoyed the heck out of this episode. The last 10 minutes just blew my freaking mind like nobody's business. So I'm going to go around the horn here. Greg, Greg, oh Greg, oh Greg, what did
Wiggly
you
wow,
think?
wow.
What did you think of the season finale of season 2 for The Mandalorian?
All right, get your pitchforks out because I left a little disappointed.
What?
Not gonna lie,
What?
I was a little disappointed because the entire last 10 minutes, I was just like, this needs to be Cal Kestis. This needs to be Cal Kestis or someone we have never seen before. But they brought Luke back. They brought a Skywalker back.
You think
Of
you'd
all
rather see
people,
Cal Kestis
like,
than Luke Skywalker in that moment? Is that what you're telling me, Greg?
yes, I wanted Cal. I wanted Cal Kestis.
I would love to hear this.
I wanted Cal Kestis. I wanted someone new. Like, I want a new Star Wars story. Like, The Mandalorian is so cool because it is a new Star Wars story that touches other Star Wars stories, but it's still its own story. But like now we're just like, up, we got the Skywalkers back. Aren't you happy? Like, no, man. Like, come on, like, give me someone new. But before all that, I love this episode. Like, I loved everything about this episode up until like that last 10 minutes. I was just like, man, like, come on, guys, like,
Wow.
like someone new, like something different. Like, we've had like the Skywalker saga has ended. Like, it's over. It's done. We don't need to see any more of it. Like, let's move on. But up until then, like, I loved everything. Like, I loved the fight with the Dark Troopers. The Dark Troopers theme song was amazing. That's some of like the best Star Wars music I've ever heard. Like, it was so great. And like the entire fight scene and just like the tension that the Dark Troopers bring was just amazing. Like, when they were like punching the windows and like punching through the door, it's just like, it's so tense. And then then we have Luke come in and cut all the tension, which I was excited for until I saw that it was Luke. And I'm just also, was that just like a CGI'd Mark Hamill?
Great,
it was de-aged, yes.
And that's going to be one
Like,
gripe in my argument when it gets to me. I will say that.
Like, that's the thing. Like, all of the actors are like older, and it's just like, come on, guys, like, let them let them go. Like, you know, have their cameos every once in a while, but like, it's over. Like, let the new generation take over. But, you know, like, I also love the tension of the Darksaber. Like, the entire lore of the Darksaber was like really cool. Like, it was just like, oh, he gets to keep it now. Bo-Katan can't have it unless she beats him in combat, and I can't wait to see that combat.
There were so many turns. I thought
they left that door wide open. We're not sure what's going to happen with that. But Greg, I guess it's fair to say that you don't subscribe to the philosophy that expect the unexpected. You're not a big fan of that. Okay. So, look, I didn't expect to see Luke either, but it was a great surprise nonetheless. That's the beauty of these season finales. You never know what you're going to get. Expect the unexpected. And believe me when I tell you, the last 10 minutes were #surprise. Just a great surprise, though. I will give you that. And that was a DH Mark Hamill. He was on board with this. He did it. And I was like, wow, 5 years after Return of the Jedi, still sporting your Return of the Jedi look, and I like it. But Greg, you're going to sit in the corner for a while. I'm going to go over to Travis here. Travis, I got to ask you a question here. The question on everyone's mind,
Ryan. Tell me that question.
People who are watching this and who are commenting in the chat want to know, what were your thoughts on the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian?
Well, Ryan, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't share exactly the same interest as Greg does here because I was absolutely in love with this episode. From point A to point B, it was stakes, emotion, and just head-to-head mind games. And at every turn, the characters are put literally their backs to a wall, and I'm like, how are they going to get out of this? And then there's and I'm so happy because season finales always love to leave things on on a cliffhanger, but we got payoff, and I was so satisfied in a way. Going down the list, like just running through the episode. First off, I still love seeing Mando and Boba Fett working together. The scene where they went to go meet Bo-Katan in the saloon or whatever you want to call it, and then like I just love how they have that moment where they're like, "You're not a Mandalorian," and Boba looks at him and goes, "Never said I did." I'm like, dude, badass line, badass line. Like he doesn't care. And then they get onto that ship. The odds are against them. They're powering up the Dark Troopers, and I love how it gives off a feeling of like a Terminator vibe, where it's just like unstoppable machines and everything just getting thrown around, and Mando's being put to his paces. He's literally at a disadvantage, but he uses his wit to get by it. Dude, a lot, and that was really cool. Just fun. Power punching him through the wall, and he's sitting there going, like I'm
it's stinging him, but it can't get through Beskar. That's why it's so strong. And I love the armor, by the way. The armor is so impactful in this scene.
It was so perfect because we took these characters, we put them into an environment where they are completely outnumbered and put them up against an enemy, an element that they like have no way of like really fighting against. That way, it's like the odds are never in their favor. So it really makes you wonder the whole way through, how are they going to get out of this? So it builds you up and builds you up and builds you up. And then all the stuff with him, like he has to go up toe to toe with Moff Gideon himself. And of course, like they're using Baby Yoda as like a hostage situation. I'm like, oh no. And I love Moff as a character because he's psychological warfare too, because he kind of tricks them and talks them down, saying, "You can take the child. It's fine. I don't care." And then attacks them off guard. I'm like, oh, what a snake.
Attacking him with the spear. The spear.
That fight was brilliant. I loved
that. Was a great fight.
And what Greg said earlier, when they finally met up with the other ones in the actual on the bridge, and then they had that whole confrontation about the Darksaber. I thought right then and there there was going to be a fight, because she was so like willing. Bo-Katan was so willing to be like, I need that. And I thought things were going to go south. Luckily it didn't. And then they're put into the corner. You have all those Dark Troopers that finally come back, and then they put them like closed off in this room, enemies closing in, getting tighter and tighter, the window of opportunity. And then what do we see? The X-Wing gliding by. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little proud of myself. No storytelling well enough that literally moments before every little bit happened, like with that, I was just like, oh, this would be a perfect time for that potential Jedi to show up. And I saw the X-Wing, I went, yes, thank you. And I started watching it, and I saw the X-Wing. I was thinking Luke, but I'm like, maybe it could be anybody. And then they get out and they start wandering around, and I start seeing like him like waving the green lightsaber. I'm like, that could be Luke. And then I start like, at one point his robe opens up and I see the black attire. I'm like, that's Luke. That's his belt buckle and everything. What are you talking about? And that whole thing, he just tore right through him. It was so pleasing, filled with action. I loved everything about it. I loved the emotional toll that it took, with the relationship with Grogu and Mando, when I loved the choice of taking off his mask so he could see him with his own eyes, like for the first time. I was like, that is so beautiful. It solidified the relationship for me. You could really feel the emotion instead of just through a mask, even though, Mando does a really great job of somehow showing that through a solid, slate face. And just, I loved everything. I loved Luke Skywalker saying, he's waiting for your permission to go. Like there's just like such a strong connection between them. I loved everything about it. The one gripe I had for it, Greg, I do get you a little bit. Yes, it would have been cool to potentially see somebody different, because then it would have been a whole new world. I get it. But once I knew it was Luke, I was like on the edge of my seat, literally prayer hands, just like this. I was like, oh my God, it's Luke, stomping my feet. The one gripe I had was it kind of threw me out of the story a little bit, where when he took off his hood and it was a clearly not that well done CGI'd face. So it kind of threw me out of the threw me out of the world of it. But that is the one thing I had. After that, I reprogrammed. I just kind of settled back in. Otherwise, everything else was great about it. It was just wall, get around it, obstacle, get around it, conflict, resolution. And it kept me strung by a wire the whole time. Love it. Love this episode. So satisfied. And Boba having the post-credit scene, fantastic. That I was so excited for that. I was standing in front of my TV, and once the Book of Boba came up, I paced my room and started going, yeah, Book of Boba, here we go. So I am far from disappointed with this episode. It was fantastic.
Yeah, one thing that stood out to me, and I should have brought this up earlier. Casca Reeves, aka the member of Bo-Katan's crew, played by Sasha Banks, WWE superstar. She got shot like 6 times by Moff Gideon on the bridge at the end there, and I thought she would dead, but apparently not, because at the very end you see her standing right next to Bo-Katan. I'm like, oh well, you are a Mandalorian, so your armor is supposed to withstand certain elements of blaster fire. So I guess she may have gotten shot like 10 times in the chest, in the face, in the head, whatever. She's fine. She's a WWE superstar. She's used to taking bumps in the ring. She'll be fine.
One weird note. Can we admire, on the topic of Moff Gideon, can we admire the fact that he is not only kind of dubious, but he's also, what is the word I'm looking for? He's an opportunist.
Oh, yes.
Sets up opportunities for him to take advantage of later. Henceforth, being when they're on the bridge and everybody's scrambling around, he sees the blaster, he covers it with his cape because he knows I'm waiting for my window. And once he sees that Luke shows up and that they're going to be saved, he has to take this opportunity, and he goes when they're all distracted and tries to shoot Bo-Katan. Like, I love, even though he didn't win technically, I love that he was smart. He wasn't just jumping to action. He was planning things out because he's smart enough to know how to win a war, and it's find your opportunity, be patient, and wait. I love that about his character. It makes him so dangerous. Even though he technically lost, I'm still terrified of what he's going to do. And that is fantastic.
He'll be fine.
Fantastic.
He's still breathing, so he can make an impact for season 3.
Fine.
We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with his character moving forward. But anyway, I think it's fair to say, I think Travis liked this episode. I'm not sure.
No,
but anyway,
really. Honestly,
you didn't really like it. No, Travis, you enjoyed it. But we want to go to our guest over here, Spencer. The question on every single person's mind, especially on the interwebs right now, is simply this: what did you think of the season finale for The Mandalorian season 2?
Yeah, it's a big question. Overall, I loved it. I'm on Travis's side. After hearing you explain your position, though, Greg, I actually agree with you a little bit more.
Thank you.
I do like was it perfect? No, like it wasn't perfect. You know what I mean? But again, we're only in season 2, so as far as the exec producers and the writers and the directors and everything, like they're still kind of like figuring out the pace of the show and the storytelling and the narrative style and all of that. I think this is by far, like, I thought this, I like the way you put it, Ryan. I thought this is like one of the best season finales we've had in like a cult type of show in quite a while. I think it, kind of like almost even put the Game of Thrones finale to shame, in my opinion.
Yes, I would agree.
I'll go that far.
Go that far.
Don't get me wrong, not everyone liked the Game of Thrones finale. We'll just put it mildly like that.
Sure.
But like, it was still like action-packed and cool to watch, and we got the Clegane Bowl and everything, like, what I mean? So there was still a lot going on. No one really liked any of the narrative choices that was made. But with that being said, like, this was, like, in my opinion, the stakes were high. I thought it was very well written in the sense that, like, even though the episode is called The Rescue, right? So it's like right off the bat, I actually kind of had a gripe with that, because I was just like, you just spoiled the ending right in the title of the episode.
Yeah.
We know what's happening.
However, throughout the episode at like 9 different times, I was just like, oh no, this isn't going to work. One of the main ones was when Mando was getting his head smashed in by that dark trooper, which was like, I didn't expect Disney to go that dark. Like, that was gruesome, like visually to watch.
Really
I was just like, and not to mention, I was crying like a baby during that scene, because I was just like, I swear to God, if Prince Oberyn Martell gets his head smashed in again, I am quitting everything forever.
Did they make you worry for a second? Because when that punching thing was happening, I was like, at one point I was like, this is going on way too longer than I wanted to. Yes. I'm worried that it's going to like shatter and he's going to.
Yes, I was actually surprised that his helmet was stood. I guess I never really realized that his helmet, I guess apparently is Beskar. Is that
all of it?
Yeah.
Okay, see, I thought it was just like his helmet was whatever, but he got the rest of the Beskar suit as we saw in season 1. But no, apparently the helmet is Beskar too. I will say this though, here's like a little detail gripe. So obviously the Dark Troopers were used to establish like how powerful they are, right? And like, even though Mando and what's her name, Casca and Bo-Katan and Boba and like Fennec, even though they're all in Cara, even though they're all like badass and whatnot, and they're great warriors and everything, they kind of didn't really stand a chance against the Dark Troopers, right? I thought that
they're holding like little blasters. It's like, dude, these Dark Troopers are like made of they are Terminators.
Yeah, like, right. Apparently they're bulletproof,
like it's everything.
Right. So I was very, very nervous. The one gripe I did have is just like, his helmet, like even the glass didn't break after getting smashed that hard repeatedly.
Dude,
I mean, they even do that one like angle where they like back up and they kind of show a side angle, and you see his head get like pushed into like the piping of the wall behind him. Like he's bending metal behind it because that thing is hitting him so hard. So
I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought that I kind of was considering in that moment that this will at least end with that mask like shattering or snapping. So that way, that's how we would your face
helmet, you have to take it off.
That's that's what I was thinking that too. But I mean, still like the payoff of how they did it because it was like his choice. But regardless, I was like, "Oh wow,
exactly." Yeah, no, I'm with you. So overall, yeah, I thought it was a great episode. Obviously, I had a little bit of gripes here and there. They were more small details and kind of like super deep cut nerdy Star Wars lore type of stuff, but like big picture, like I thought it was written well. I thought it was exactly what we needed. I like really focusing on the choices, like the writing choices that were made. And I think that like, was it perfect? No. Was it great? Yeah. Could it have been better? Probably. But like I was not disappointed in anything.
Yeah. No, I would 100% agree with that. I full disclosure, I'm with everybody. Like, I love this episode. It's definitely not the best thing in the world. There are definitely other things I've seen in my life. It is that. Thank you. That's exactly it. This gives me hope because this was just, in a way, just so well executed. And I just love everything that they decided to do. Putting characters that you've made so OP, the whole story that you followed them, putting them like kind of in their place and saying and really showing the humanized side of them, not emotionally, but physically, saying they can't stand a chance for once. So how are you going to be able to root for them? You know,
you match that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's really hard. And then it makes you, since you've connected to their humanity emotionally already, it's like, well, now physicality is like a big issue here. Oh no, are we going to have
these things come to blows? Like we're seeing them come to fruition now.
And I will say this, I am a little bit surprised given the situation that they were put in. I'm surprised that out of that whole squad that decided to infiltrate the ship, I'm surprised we didn't get really any real losses. I was expecting somebody to not walk out of here.
I thought someone was going to die for sure.
Yeah, I think that's
one of my gripes.
Yeah, that's the one thing I think it's missing. And I hate to see any of these characters go, but if we would have had a loss, there would have been more of an emotional toll I would have had towards it, which to me is a beneficial thing for a show because now it solidifies me. You're not setting up stakes. You show me there are consequences and there are serious stakes. But everybody kind of was able to brush it off.
I'll say this, that's one thing Game of Thrones did very, very well. And they did very much right off the bat. They were just like, oh yeah, Ned season 1, he's going to be the main character. Chop his head off right away, and you're like, "Oh, whoa, what?"
Because there's something very special as a viewer about like connecting emotionally to a character, but knowing they will die potentially. Like, there's a good chance you will not see them again, and then that like really makes you want to watch more.
I was really waiting for someone to like bite it at some point.
I mean, you know,
I thought Costco was done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like on the bridge, you know, Moff Gideon blasted like 7 times. I'm thinking, okay, Casca Reeves is done. Sasha Banks has served her purpose. She can go back to WWE. You know, keep on wrestling every Monday and Friday night or Tuesday night, whatever it is. I know SmackDown moved to a different night and something. Who cares? So, you know, I would have been okay with that, but she's still standing at the end with Bo-Katan, thinking, "How am I going to get this?"
So I guess here's a question: are they all in Beskar?
I don't think so. It's the same.
Don't think so. Don't think so.
I think the thing is like Mando's suit is pure Beskar, and like everyone else is like a Kmart traces.
There's like a cheap Kmart version.
Yeah.
Of Beskar.
Yeah,
you know, they can still withhold blaster fire, but not as well as Mando's.
Yeah, it's not like Beskar is the only thing that can block. Right? Okay.
That armor to me is like stronger than freaking vibranium or adamantium or something.
See, here's the other thing. Now think about all the chess pieces that they placed for this episode. I think we're all in agreement. I think it honestly would have been a more interesting payoff to potentially see in future seasons if they did kill off that character. If Moff Gideon actually like killed her in that flurry of fire. Because if we did that, then you think not only does it paint a picture of like now they all have a definite gripe with Moff, not for just stealing a kid, but taking one of their companions away, but also Bo-Katan. Think of what the shoes that she's in. She would not only have lost her best soldier and her best friend probably because they never leave each other's side, but then also the one thing that she wanted, which is defeat him just to get the Darksaber, she doesn't have that either. So that puts that character literally in a world of like kind of her own personal turmoil and kind of has her back against the wall because now she doesn't have anybody to share like her situation with at least. And I feel like that would have really been interesting to see in the following seasons and stuff. But right now, I mean, yes, she doesn't have the saber, and that's going to be a thing later. But it would have been more interesting to take away a friend of hers. Now because now she's like she's grieving, and you don't really make the best choices when you're grieving. So like that's going to add a whole new element to it.
Yes,
adding more emotional stakes.
Well, if you remember earlier on in this season, The Mandalorian, Bo-Katan wasn't alone. She had two partners.
Where'd that other dude
yeah,
go?
we're missing one of her crew, right?
The guy wasn't even there. He wasn't even present for this mission. So
maybe he's off on
still,
some mission.
far away off somewhere doing, Lord knows what.
This is my question about that. See, I was going to bring that up, Ryan. I, for some reason, just kind of assumed since he wasn't there, I'm like, did he die? And I just don't remember it. But my other thing, even if he is a thing, I still feel like those two, those two characters, they're still together because they not only work together, but I feel like they have a stronger relationship. The other guy was just kind of like there as the brute to help out with the group. But like I feel like theirs is a real like kind of like we're a family type of situation. I get that from them. So if she would have died, I feel like Bo-Katan would have not taken it easily, and just putting that onto that, like stacking that onto the circumstances already would have been so much of a chemical imbalance that to see the end result of that in future seasons would make me way more amped.
Yeah,
way more amped.
It would have raised the stakes, and it would have
so much.
It would have given more opportunity for character development for Bo-Katan for sure. Because
I agree.
As much as we're all like, the audience is familiar with Bo-Katan, if you put it through the lens of like, if you've never seen Star Wars before or whatever, you don't really know who Bo-Katan is. They haven't really used her much. Like, yes, she's been in a couple episodes and she's got some decent dialogue, but we're not really exploring who she is. We're kind of just like watching the choices that she's making on screen now in front of us. So I'm with you on that. That's kind of another gripe that I guess I could say that I have is I think there were definitely a couple missed opportunities, and raising the stakes and also by like, maybe killing off or severely injuring Casca, is that her name?
Yeah, Casca Reeves. Yeah,
injuring Casca, for example, exactly. Just as you said, Travis, would have like raised the stakes and given more character development to Bo-Katan for sure. Because I'm very, very interested in Bo-Katan. I wasn't really super curious about her, like in the Clone Wars and whatnot.
Yeah,
she was cool, and it was kind of more of just like it kind of made me somber and reminded me of her sister, and because I really loved what was her sister's name?
Oh, it's been so long.
Are we all spacing right now?
It's been so long.
I haven't seen every minute of every second of every episode of Rebels, or not Rebels, Clone Wars, so I don't know what's going on.
Well, the Queen of Mandalore or whatever, Obi-Wan's lover or love interest or whatever. Anyway, so like I always kind of saw her as just like, that's sad. I remember her sister and Obi-Wan. Satine, thank you.
Yeah, I love Satine. Why did I forget her name? Holy crap!
I always forget her name. I never forget Bo-Katan. But anyway, so yeah,
it's Katie Sackhoff, so
Yeah, right, exactly.
How can you forget?
Right. So yeah, it was a missed opportunity. I think it was a chance to raise the stakes and explore Bo-Katan a little bit more because I'm very, very curious. And that's why the fact that they didn't do that tells me maybe they're saving that for the future. So
I would hope so. Maybe. I would hope so. Because at a certain point with a show like this, there has to be serious loss that needs to occur.
Yeah.
Because right now, like let's look at the pattern here. I feel like ever since season 1 started and everything, we've had maybe 1 or 2 losses, but they've always been from characters that haven't been really interacted with Mando too much to the point where he could have made a real relationship with. It was just the most that we've ever gotten was like kind of a noble sacrifice that was like, thank you for that, because I would have died if you didn't do that.
Yeah, Quinn,
but like,
right?
What was his name? Yes.
I have spoken. That guy. Like that was emotional. That was good.
Yeah, that was good. You had I forget what exactly his number was, but the droid that originally was sent to
IG-11.
Was it
IG-11?
Yeah. That one was a good one, but that was just like kind of like a nice sacrifice
which was voiced by Taika Waititi. I didn't know that.
Awesome.
Yes, it was. And so basically, they're on their way, but it's like they haven't fully committed to making a strong connection and having us fully invest in a character, and then choosing to take them away. And Spencer, you might be right, and I kind of hope so that they're building up to that, just so the payoff is going to be a little bit more impactful for us. But right now, they haven't done it. They're kind of dancing the line a little bit, and I don't know if it's good. I don't know if they're just building up or they're a little scared. It could be either or. But I
really hope they commit to it.
Yeah.
The biggest loss we've seen so far in season 2 is Baby Yoda or Grogu getting captured. We haven't actually seen like a significant loss in season 2.
Yeah.
Hey, we've gotten a lot of loss this season. We lost our favorite ship, the Razor Crest, and then let's not forget the frog lady and how many eggs she lost. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
Let's
like how
not
that
forget-
was
Unfertilized. The
appreciated.
ones he was eating were unfertilized.
let's not forget how many innocent children were being murdered by Grogu in the first 3 episodes of the season.
Ryan, have you tried those things with a little bit of sea salt and Old Bay? All right, come back to me.
I know they might be better with Old Bay because that's a Maryland tradition.
A little
here.
caviar, frog
Be
caviar.
near a bathroom though. Ooh, they do not.
Yeah, you're welcome, people. But no, dude, yeah, we've lost some stuff this season. Let's not forget. Anyway, I was just throwing that out there. But I will say this though. On the bridge, when the Jedi shows up, I honestly thought it was going to be either a new character or Ezra. Those were my guesses at the
Ezra was
time.
my guess.
At the time, it was my guess it was going to be Ezra or somebody else. But Luke shows up. We get to see what happened to him 5 years after Return of the Jedi. And like, hey, good to see you, because we haven't seen him in like 30 years. I mean, he didn't show up until Force Awakens. But anyway, that's a story for another day entirely. So, to a certain degree, we all enjoy this finale. We're looking forward to seeing what season 3 is going to bring us. But before we dive into what our speculations are going to be with season 3 and moving forward with all these characters, because season 2 still left us with plenty of cliffhangers to chew on for certain characters and certain subplots that are going to open the doors to some other kind of adventures within season 3. What did we think of the post-credit scene with Boba Fett and Fennec? I want to go over to, I know I see him writing his next great novel over there. Spencer, what were your thoughts? Let's focus on this for a minute. What were your thoughts on the post-credit scene that focused on the characters of Fennec and Boba Fett at Jabba's palace?
I loved it. So just from like a business perspective, my favorite part about all of that was the fact that they chose not to announce that show at the Disney investor meeting the day before or whatever.
Yeah.
They waited to announce it specifically to the Mandalorian audience, which I loved that. The other thing I took away from it, again, I'm going like out of the plot right now. December 2021. That's
December
very
2021.
quickly. Like that, they've been working on this. Then you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They probably have been shooting Mandalorian season 2 and season 1 of Boba Fett side by side. They had to have. That's the only way the schedules would have worked out. You know.
I mean, yeah, it definitely would have, especially given look at the example of the season finale. Boba made kind of what felt like a guest appearance, and he was out. So like they're using all that free time deliberately, probably.
Yeah, I guess right. So my question is like, when did that after credit scene take place? After what we saw in the events of the episode, I guess we're supposed to assume.
I think that's what we're meant to assume. It makes the most sense because he goes off while they infiltrate the ship. So obviously, I think like he's done his part. So now that this is something he needs to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited for it. I was reading that the Book of Boba Fett is going to be a mini series, so I don't think it's going to be like this long-standing thing. So my guess, and like what I'm reading from the internet at large, is essentially, and so take it with a grain of salt, is my point. My guess is that he's going to kind of weave in and out. Obviously, he's got his own show now, but I don't think he's done with the Mandalorian forever. He's just too good of a character. Yeah. So I think he'll be making cameo appearances in the next couple seasons and stuff like that. I'm very stoked for it. My favorite thing that I took away from
situation.
Yeah, right. Well, apparently that's already, which I haven't heard about this, but I was reading the other day that apparently that's what all these 3 or 4 of the series that they announced at the Disney investor meeting are technically spin-offs of The Mandalorian. So Cara Dune's show is Rangers of the Republic.
Rangers of the New Republic, you got Ahsoka, and now you got Boba Fett.
Rogue Squadron, and then now Boba Fett. I don't know about Rogue Squadron. I could be wrong
Rogue
about
Squadron has nothing to do with Mandalorian, but Rangers of New Republic and Ahsoka and now the Boba Fett series all are going to culminate within the Mandalorian.
Then those are the Mandalorian spin-offs then. Oh, because Rogue Squadron is like what? That's taking place after
That's a movie. That's a movie. That's not a series.
Okay, never mind. I apologize. So yeah, so those are all technically Mandalorian spin-off series. So what I was reading is that they're working up to like an MCU type of crossover event. Eventually, all those series will converge.
They're going to culminate. Yeah.
What's going to bring them together? 2 guesses.
Moff Gideon, maybe.
Thrawn.
Well,
Thrawn.
You really think Thrawn?
I
really
absolutely think so.
Ezra
and Thrawn are tied at the hip.
With Moff Gideon, he could be the one pulling the strings.
It's got to be because, and here's why I say that. Okay. We have been building up how badass. I'm sorry. Am I okay to say that?
Yeah.
Okay. We've been building up to how badass Gideon is, and in my opinion, he got his ass whooped by the Mando, by Din. Din crushed him. Like, yes, it was awesome seeing him swing the dark saber around, and don't get me wrong, like he wasn't bad with it, but like, look at if you compare the difference between like how Gideon wielded the lightsaber and how Luke wielded the lightsaber, it was guy with a sword swinging it versus guy using a weapon that's an extension of himself. You know what I mean? Like, we're kind of black and white, So in my opinion, like I was actually kind of almost disappointed that Gideon was, to me, he's more of a mental villain, like a mental psychological strategic threat versus an actual physical threat.
Yeah.
Which that is very reminiscent of who Thrawn is. So in my opinion, they're kind of building up, because the last we saw, I rewatched the episode a couple times to make sure. The last we actually see Gideon on screen is when he went to kill himself, that was also pretty dark for Disney. He goes to shoot himself and Kara smacks him and basically knocks him out. So I guess we're to assume that he was taken prisoner, which is like,
under arrest.
Did we just detooth the dog? Like, did we just completely take the claws away from, like, who's the villain now?
Yeah,
that's a big thing that they kind of left open-ended. There's a lot of things they left open-ended. So the other thing I wanted to say is I think they're building up to Thrawn, and Ezra and Thrawn are narratively tied at the hip.
Yeah.
You can't do Thrawn without Ezra. You can't do Ezra without Thrawn, because they eventually right, because of the ending of Rebels. So I do think that we will see Ezra, because I liked him, but apparently he's like a really, really big deal to like the younger Star Wars audience. He's kind of like a Luke-ish type of character, which is cool and makes sense. I didn't dislike the character, but like
reminiscent.
It was a kid's cartoon, you know what I mean? I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. It was really good, well written, but it's, he's no Luke in my opinion, but he's still a fan favorite. So I do think that they're going to pay that off in some way, shape, or form.
Just to appease as much of an audience as they can. Honestly, that's one big benefit to doing that potentially.
Yeah. I think that's where it's going, though. I think all these series are converging. Thrawn's going to be involved. You can't do Thrawn without Ezra.
Yeah.
Ahsoka. Yeah. We know Ahsoka's looking for Thrawn. She's already mentioned it in the Mandalorian series. I think
Where's your master? Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn? And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Ahsoka is on a mission, people. She's on a mission.
These were theories I had about Thrawn, like at least 2 to 3 episodes ago, and I was like being very hopeful for it, and it made so much sense to me at the time, because everything you said, Spencer, given that we're provided a character of Moff Gideon, he's such a reflection of the type of character that Thrawn is, that I'm like it would only make sense that, like, if he, first off, it's like, I know it's not like kind of like Sith or anything, but it always seems to be the rhythm that there's always 2. There's always like exactly
always
two. So
I mean, it's one at first, and you're like, oh no, there's a man behind the curtain.
Exactly, because like imagine every single Star Wars film we've seen, usually the bad guy that is like kind of facing off, he's the one that's being given the orders. He's not really in charge. So that's why I'm like, if we're getting Moff like right off the bat doing all this stuff, I know that there's somebody next up in command. Like why is he doing it? Who's telling him to do this stuff?
Because we're left without a villain right now. That's probably storyline. That's the biggest thing I took away from the finale, is I was just like, whoa, we just beat the villain. And then Grogu's gone. To me, the Grogu scene was like an exit. I don't know if we're going to see Grogu again, at least for a while.
He doesn't have to eat anymore.
I hope not.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like. I think it's going to be like. This is a weird example, but like a Baby Groot scenario where it's like he's going to go away for maybe like a full season or 2, and then something's big's going to happen where they're finally going to reunite. And he's going to be a little bit older, probably speaking, and he's also going to be a lot more in tune with his power. So he's actually going to be able to help.
I agree. That's exactly what I think too. So to me, I'm like, okay, we got rid of Gideon at this point. Grogu seems to be exiting the show, so I'm kind of like, we have big questions that we're left with. Like, where's the show going now?
Exactly. That's the beauty of it. Leave the audience
Darksaber fight
wanting more. That's what we want. We want more, and hopefully we're going to get that within season 3.
Oh my god, guys!
No.
I just realized something.
Yes.
While on the topic of where this is going to go, potentially leading up to introducing a new villain who's really behind it all, possibly Thrawn, but also we're talking about all these shows and how they're going to try to probably like establish them and bring them together. Like, what is that going to be, that big event that's going to bring them together? I can guarantee you right now, given what this season finale set up, one thing is a guarantee. They're going to have to go up against an enemy so strong, and they're going to be so outnumbered that they're going to need to look for allies. And who has the power right now to get an army behind him? Mando. He has the Darksaber. He's got the Mandalorians on his side.
Yeah.
He's going to have an army of Mandos to recruit.
That's
He's
my
going to do the whole like Braveheart thing and just like
if I see that, that's going to make me even
that's
happier.
going to be beautiful.
But it leads into your thoughts, Travis. What were your thoughts on the post-credit scene involving Boba Fett and Fennec, and for the spin-off series?
I just realized I derailed your question.
Yeah, I was about to say, we were talking about this.
That's why Spencer, that's why I'm here. I'm the host, so I can keep things on track.
Like,
So, Travis,
I
about
totally
that
forgot that originally you asked me about Boba. I was like,
oh yeah, that guy. Hold on.
I'll shut up for a second.
No, I'm kidding. So, Travis, your thoughts on the post-credit scene, and now the fact that we're going to get a spin-off series focusing on Boba Fett. What do you think?
I can't say more than what Spencer said because honestly, everything that he pointed off, it was either something I was already thinking, or obviously you saw he made me shed new light on some stuff.
He wrote a book of notes.
That's why I love talking to Spencer. He opens doors. I'm like, God damn, I can't close that one now. Hello. But yes, I think I was very much pumped when I saw the Book of Boba thing. Hey, look at him go.
Yeah, he's scrolling through his notes.
I was very much excited when I saw the Book of Boba stuff. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with that show in of its own, because Boba is always very an interesting character. He's still very ambiguous because of the fact that in canon lore that they're running off of, we don't have much to go on. But from what we've been given for this season, I'm very excited. I got a little taste of what this character is like. I still can't figure him out, but I know a couple of nooks and crannies about him. He's very much capable on his own of like he can hold his own. He's got this honor system to him. I wonder how that's going to be tested and played out in his own show in the future. And I think it was a nice resolution for him in a way, like a good new next stepping stone, where it's like the last time we saw him in Jabba's palace, he was kind of like the guy off to the sidelines, not the one in power, and now he's the forefront man. It shows him elevating in power in the universe, in my opinion, and I think that's what he wants in a way, and that could play into being very beneficial for him, but dangerous for others, specifically dangerous for other characters that we might love, and that might cause a conflict that we don't know how that's going to turn out. So I'm very much excited to see where that is going to go and what's going to cause all these characters to come together in the future. And again, I'll say it really quick. I agree with Spencer. I hope it's Thrawn. And also, people have been fan casting Benedict Cumberbatch. Why don't you come back?
Please let it be him.
Because you did so well in Star Trek. Why don't you come over to Star Wars for once? You'll be much welcome here. Dude, please do it.
That'd be really cool.
Him to
I'd
play
love that.
Thrawn so bad.
He would
perfect.
He would be a great choice.
I don't want to get too off topic here, but I just saw him in a movie that came out last year that only 2.5 people saw. The Current War, about the war between Edison and Westinghouse and Tesla back in the 1800s. Benedict Cumberbatch plays Thomas Edison, and he did a fantastic job. But then again, Benedict Cumberbatch never phones it in. The guy is on. He brings his game every single time he's playing a historical figure, or if he's playing a completely fictional character.
I also have a question. Just while we're on this topic, I want to propose a quick. I just want to read the room here on this one. So cool, Benedict Cumberbatch as like a potential Thrawn if it happens.
Fan cast as Thrawn, yeah.
While we're on the subject, just real quick of fan casting. I wish they would have done this because they're all kind of affiliated in a way, so I wouldn't have been too hard, but whatever. When we saw Luke and he had the CGI face, I was hoping... You did it!
What did you say? I'm sorry?
Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker.
To be honest with you, I'm a fan of that version of Luke. That DH version of Luke sort of kind of looked a bit like Sebastian.
It did.
Yeah, dude, put the wig on him, and plus Sebastian, he does like he's already got some stunt training from doing like the Winter Soldier stuff for all the Avengers movies and everything.
He's been acting for a decade and a half.
Phenomenal actor. I've seen him outside of the Marvel universe. So I'm not just biased by the Marvel thing. He has very good acting chops, very good range. I would love to see him as this sort of character. I was really hoping when it was Luke before he took his hood off, I was just like Sebastian Stan. And then I saw the CGI face, and not only did I was disappointed in 2 ways because it didn't look great and it wasn't him. So I was like, come on.
See, the community is split down the middle on this. I thought it looked great.
I thought it looked good for what it was. I'm not going to give it any Oscars.
Yeah, it distracted me for a second, and I was like immediately like that went away quickly, and I was just like, oh man, it's Luke, and then I was like, wait a minute, it's Luke. Never mind, shut up. And so immediately right back.
Spencer, I fully agree with you. I felt the same exact way. It's just the fact that it's about how you take that. I reacted the same way as you. I was able to get right back into it, but the fact that it was bad enough that it shocked me out of it for a minute means they could have done better.
The illusion,
so like you can't do that.
Yeah, it's like once you break the illusion, you kind of like
you
that's
can't
like
forget.
Kind of a no.
That was just my 2 cents. We can move forward, but
sure.
Fun thing.
That's a topic for another day. Yeah.
On the comments, if you want to see that discussion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, seriously, what do you guys think?
It's coming soon to a YouTube channel near you. Greg, your thoughts on the post-credit scene involving 2 characters known as Boba Fett and Fennec, played by the way, Ming-Na Wen is pushing almost 60 years old, and she can mop the floor with pretty much anybody.
She's 60?
Almost 60.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm telling you,
great.
Ming-Na Wen, some of these actors or actresses, they just don't crack an age. But Greg, my question to you is simply this. Boba Fett post-credit scene, your thoughts?
I'm just glad that it's going to be a mini series because I feel like we don't need an entire. Again, like I want new stories. Like I Boba Fett has like kind of served his purpose. Like he's done his thing, and it's like, okay.
Bang.
Can I? I'm not going to derail you. I'm proposing this question, Greg.
Propose.
I understand that characters, like you want to see new characters, but the thing is, Boba Fett has not had his time. Anything you've ever seen,
Really hasn't done anything.
He's just stood there. He's been a passing character. So this is a new character in a way.
I don't know.
Tell me something you've seen Boba do.
It's technically a new character.
He looks to the left. He looks to the right, and then he nods his head, and then he's like, "What does he say in the first movie?" No, not Spencer. Excuse me, Greg. He says, "He's no good to me, dead." It's like, come on, man. It's like you're just standing there. You're just
like
standing
the coolest
there.
character that never did anything.
Exactly.
Never did anything.
This is Greg. What you want is what Boba's going to give you. This is a window into a world about a character you don't know much about. You want that. You want that.
I'm with you. I agree.
I'd much rather see a brand new character.
Greg, we get it. Believe me. I've been on the train of saying to people, the executives who never take my phone calls at Disney, even though they should take my phone calls, please give us new characters, new stories. I want to see where this galaxy is going to go moving forward.
Yeah, Ryan, we're all phoning in.
I want to go.
I've been calling the executives, and they need to listen to the fan. They need to listen to reason. Give us new stories with new characters. Well, listen, Greg, let me tell you something. This is coming from somebody who, when they announced that they were potentially going to put Boba Fett in a spin-off movie or a series a couple of years ago, I was like, no, I don't want it. I don't need it. It's dumb. Move on to do something else with your life. Creative.
The mystique.
But listen, Greg, here's the thing. If that post-credit scene... Whatever, Greg.
The gloves are coming off now.
Greg, have another cup of coffee.
Dark Trooper. He's bashing your head in, Greg. He's bashing your head in.
Greg, let me stop you right there, okay? Because if that post-credit scene didn't happen and it wasn't as bad-ash as it was, I wouldn't have been sold on this. But now that it says the book of Boba Fett is coming in December of 2021, and he takes out Bib Fortuna and he takes over the throne, so he's running a sector, a piece of the criminal underworld that could potentially introduce new stories and new characters. In the words of Futurama, Greg, shut up and take my money.
Wow, aggressive. I'm happy about this because Boba Fett is a bad guy.
Listen, I was against this from the beginning, but then that post-credit scene and everything we've seen with this character within The Mandalorian Season 2 has me sold. He's got a new coat of armor. He's working with Ming-Na Wen, who can mop the floor with anybody she comes across with her sniper rifle and her kicks to the face. It's like, if I want to see these characters, I'm going to watch. So Boba Fett, the book of Boba Fett is coming December 2021. I will be there opening weekend to see that on Disney Plus, Greg. I'm going to be there to watch every single episode. It
was a cool
because now the scenes that he's been involved with Mandalorian and the fact that he's getting his own spinoff has me invested now. I care. I want to see where this is going to
go. I agree.
In the beginning, I would have said, get out of here, Disney. I don't want to see a Boba Fett movie, much less a series. But now it's more Morrison in his, deep raspy voice. It's like, I want more. I want to see more. So you know what, guys? I want to tell it to you like this. The season finale aired on Friday, December the 18th, which also was the 5-year anniversary of my favorite Star Wars movie of all time, The Force Awakens. And also we had the unfortunate passing of the suit actor for Boba Fett, Jeremy Bullock, has passed away. So to see that we've lost somebody and they have become one with the Force, but at the same time, we're celebrating the 5-year anniversary of The Force Awakens as the season finale of Mandalorian Season 2 drops. I don't know about you watching at home, and I don't know about the panel sitting in this room, but it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan, ladies and gentlemen.
I agree. I think the Star Wars community needs to be a little bit, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think the Star Wars community needs to be a little bit more forgiving and grateful. I wasn't a fan of the sequel trilogy. I thought Force Awakens was great.
I love Force Awakens.
It sucked.
And I love Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One was fantastic too.
Those two films were the best things that's happened.
I agree.
Disney acquired the rights.
I agree. I actually liked. You're probably gonna freak out. I actually liked The Last Jedi when I saw it at first, and then the more I watched it, I started to dislike it more and more. And then when The Rise of Skywalker came out, I was like, okay, never mind. Now I agree with the community, and I hate The Last Jedi. But but here's my thing. It's like the Star Wars community is known to be like, we can be a little brutal, you know,
finicky,
very hostile,
very finicky. You know what I mean? And I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of fan service. Like, I don't think
they can be angry and they can throw. I mean, they've made 2 or 3 actors get rid of their social media accounts because of how nasty they've been.
And that's not cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, because to me, it's like, don't blame the actors. John Boyega, who everyone was like, Finn didn't really do much and Finn didn't matter. John
Last
Boyega
Jedi, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, he was a fantastic actor. Like, I'm a John Boyega fan now. And then I love the interview where someone was just like, John Boyega, would you ever come back and play Finn again? And he goes, in what? You're not going to Disney Plus me. I'm not getting no Disney Plus. I loved that interview, and I was like, okay, he his character kind of sucked, but I am a big John Boyega fan, and I cannot wait to follow his career.
I love
it.
So,
we've seen
we need to be more forgiving, and we need to like let Disney do their thing. And it's just like it seems that they're now kind of like taking what they learned from the sequel trilogy and applying it. So I think we need to like give them the room to like make it up to us, basically.
Yeah, I understand that. And like I said, I'm on board for the Boba Fett series. And years ago, I would have said no. Now I'm on board. You sold me. So we're going to be in for that. But what am I trying to say? So I will say this. All the announcements that have been made, all the series that are upcoming, some of the movies that are upcoming, everything that's coming. Some people have said online, some people are excited. But on the flip side of it, some people said it's going to be too much too soon and the market's going to be oversaturated. But let me counter that point. You may think that we're going to be oversaturated with Star Wars content, but let me tell you like this: there's going to be something for everybody. You don't have to watch everything. You can pick and choose.
Exactly. Thank you.
You can pick and choose what you want to watch and how you want to go about experiencing it, because it's like Baskin Robbins. There's going to be a flavor of the week for somebody.
Yeah, pick your flavor. Right. You don't got to watch.
Look at me. Take me for example. I'm going to be watching Mandalorian 3. I'm going to be watching Ahsoka. I'm going to be watching the Boba Fett, even though I didn't want it in the first place, but now I want it because the post-credit scene was #Lagbouse. You know, and then you got tracking series that are coming down the pipe that are getting me excited. The movie's coming down the pipe.
Who is this man?
Because I'm excited. So there's going to be something for everybody. That is what I'm trying to express to you fans out there. There's going to be something for everybody. There's going to be something for 2-year-olds. There's going to be something for the 25-year-olds. And there's going to be something for the 45-year-olds who have been with the series since 1977, respectively.
Very true. I think I'm most excited for Obi-Wan. Hayden Christensen coming back.
There's something for everybody. And we should be thankful for that. If you think the market's oversaturated, that's fine. If you don't want to tune in for some of this, that's fine. You have the control. You can pick and choose how and where you want to experience your Star Wars. I'm just going to point that out there. I'm getting standing ovations in the middle of the internet. This is wonderful. I've never gotten those before.
I will point out, since you're on this topic, Ryan, if you want to hear more of a discussion on the topic such as this, make sure to go over to Lasting Light Media. We recently just put up a Lasting Insight episode where we talked about this. Shame-free plug. Shame-free plug.
I saw that on your Instagram. I was going to ask you about that at the end of the show. But
I had to do it now because you're unpredictable. Sometimes you ask us, and sometimes you just sign off. I'm like, no, wait.
Can I say something too to play off your point, Ryan? Because I completely agree with you. So first of all, it's like you don't got to watch everything. Two, a lot of the stuff that they announced are like single season mini series.
Yes,
and then 3 or 4 of them are like animated shorts for children.
Yeah.
There's only like. I think the only ones you said Rogue Squadron is a movie. I haven't read into that.
It is directed by Patty Jenkins of Wonder Woman. Yes.
Okay. What about Lando? Do we know anything about that?
Lando's going to be a teen/adult type of. I'm thinking it's going to be an adult type, teen/adult audience because I believe I'm not sure they're potentially going to bring back Donald Glover.
I would love to see that. I thought he killed it. A Droid Story, like that's a cartoon for kids.
That's a kid's show.
Visions again. I'm pretty sure Visions is another cartoon for kids. I don't know what Willow is. I don't think that's Star Wars.
I think the Acolyte, I think is going to be targeted towards
Acolyte sounds cool.
I think Visions is also going to be targeted towards teens and adults because it's anime.
Don't they have a show coming? I feel like that I heard about this. Isn't one of those shows? And Spencer, you brought this up, which might actually address that point. I think they have a show that's supposed to be going further back in time.
I think that's Acolyte, right?
Is that Acolyte?
The Acolyte and Visions are going back.
It's going to be like the timeline is the end of the High Republic era, which is what they're now going
200 years before the events of Episode 1.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. I like seeing like the stuff before, and I've said this like a while ago. I think it'd be cool to see how everything was set in stone.
I say even further back. Like I'm curious because like the High Republic is a new thing that, like, because like now what we're seeing with all this new Star Wars content coming out that they just announced, this is more or less they're gonna like take stories from Star Wars Legends and the expanded universe that were so beloved, and all the books and comics and stuff that they initially threw in the trash, and the audience was like, "What? What are you doing?
How dare you?"
So it's cool. I'm interested in seeing new original content from Disney about Star Wars, being the High Republic. I'm very interested in that. They're starting to write all the comics and stuff now. Eventually, we'll see movies and series and stuff. But what I really want to see is, I say, go even further back. Give me Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic era stuff.
Yes,
Sith Empire, Sith Council,
that'd be
Mandalorian Wars. Give me Revan. Give me Darth Bane. Give me Darth Bane.
There's a big part of the fandom that wants that and deserves that. So hopefully at some point or another, the executives will announce it, and those fans who have been waiting so long for it will actually get it. And I just found this out. I was on Amazon today, and I found out that the new book series that they are aiming towards all forms of different audiences, the first book is coming out on January the 5th about the High Republic from Star Wars. It's a brand new book that's coming out. It's on Amazon. It's on pre-order. Comes out January the 5th. Look it up. It's there. I put it in my Amazon list. So get ready for that. There's going to be a whole new chapter of Star Wars that's being written, and it's going to start coming out in January of 2021. So stay tuned for that. And I said this early on.
2021?
Yeah, something's coming out early. What's the new?
It's called Stories of the High Republic.
Stories of the High Republic.
I think it's called that. I got to go back to my Amazon list and look at it again. I'll send it to you off camera. We'll talk a little bit more about it off camera.
By the way, Plagueis was alive during this era.
Yes.
Okay, in the studio. We'll talk more about it off camera in the studio. But
that's what I'm bugging out about.
Yeah, I said this at the top of the show. If you have any thoughts or opinions about this, feel free to toss them in. We're going to go to the comment section as we wrap things up here. Josh, I know Josh has been waiting to
talk about.
It would have been more impactful to see Mando take on all the droids.
I agree.
With the Darksaber.
I think they're saving that.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, and Josh,
I think it's him like trying to come to power. They don't want to give it to him just yet. He's got to earn it.
And Josh says the best thing about season 2, finally maybe a Boba Fett fan. The post-credit scene got me hyped for what's to come.
We finally got something to make us a fan about Boba Fett.
Yeah. They finally paid us off for that.
He was so underutilized in the original trilogy. I think that's part of what gave him the fame. Is they were like, this guy's way cool, and then he just dies, and they're like, oh.
I'm pretty sure if nobody had built a fan base around this character for some odd reason, they would have just let him go. Like they didn't have any interest in him. They just did it because I guess partially a fan service thing. But I mean, it's paying off right now so far.
This is how to do fan service correctly, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, listen to them and see what seems to be striving a little bit. That's interesting. We should explore that.
Yeah, this is good fan service. Bad fan service is the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
That's the difference between good and bad.
That's a discussion for another day. But Brian Brian is here. He says Gideon is Thrawn. That's my guess. He's guessing.
I don't see them being the same.
I don't see that either.
That'd be interesting though.
Yeah, isn't Thrawn of Chiss race?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
love that. I love the whole backstory of the Chiss race. By the way, I read it years ago, but it was they're so interesting, and they're very interesting. They're very calculated.
Yeah, they're super smart.
Brian, I think you're referring to the Mandalorian. If not another spin-off series that may be coming soon. I'm not sure. He says the spin-off is the Kevin Smith show from a few years back that never happened.
What?
This spin-off. Maybe he's referring to Mandalorian, or maybe he's referring to something else. I'm not sure.
I think he's referring to the Boba Fett show.
Yeah, I think he might be right. I think he might be right in the fact that I think one of these shows they were trying to establish early on before they got any of this going. I think it just kind of fell through, and they waited until now when they started getting their footing.
Yeah, Brian is speculating that and Brian also says that because we saw Bo-Katan, who was voiced by Katie Sackhoff in the animated series, and then she became live action and still played by the same actor. Brian says Thrawn is going to be the voice actor from Rebels himself.
Wait, do we know that where are you?
Yeah,
where are you getting this, Brian?
Yeah, he's speculating.
These are all speculations. These aren't.
By the way, Greg is getting some love in the chat here. Josh says, as always, #Greg is right. Give me more news.
I will say this. About the Thrawn thing. I mean, Brian, honestly, I'm definitely not against the idea of having Rebels voice actor come back to do it, but I'm just saying, depending on where we go, I mean, if they decide to, if they listen to the fan cast and everything, and we get somebody that's of level as Benedict Cumberbatch, trust me, he won't really need that because he'll be able to put on his own show. And plus, I feel like that might kind of be a disconnect for a character when you have when you have a voice actor. It's kind of like the Darth Vader situation where it's just they replace his voice and everything. It added to the character, but I feel like performance wise, Thrawn's more of a a facial performance like character. Everything's
got to be
internally
on
in here.
camera.
Yeah, like
close-ups.
And if
you
it's
can't
possible,
phone it in like Darth.
yeah, and if it's possible, if they get the voice actor, I'll give him a fair shake because he was good on Rebels. But if you're going to sign somebody, just get Benedict.
Yeah,
as long as they just get like the stoic.
Exactly. Yeah,
they got to get that right.
They got to get that cold tone, like I don't believe I like your attitude.
Right. I've been
like,
expecting this for 7 years.
What does he say in the first?
You can never outsmart him.
In Rebels, he says, "I'm going to tear the rebellion apart."
It's like no,
it's like bit by bit, piece by piece, whatever.
Thrawn is so smart.
Ahead of everyone all the time.
Like, he's just standing in the room and he's like, "I'm going to stop you." He's like, "I knew you were going to sneeze."
Right.
By the way,
as long as he doesn't sit in a chair and get cut in half by a lightsaber.
I swear to God,
dude, please.
There we go.
Let's not talk about how they ruined that movie with ruining that character.
As long as he doesn't just sit in a chair and get cut in half by a lightsaber.
That's going to be such a wait, what moment.
They need to teach that film in film classes in colleges and be
what
like,
went wrong?
this is what not to do.
Yeah, The Last Jedi, how not to make a proper Star Wars.
They play the whole thing and they go, okay, so what did we learn, class?
Right.
By the way, Brian says that the Boba Fett series has already started filming. Just a few weeks ago, they started filming.
Okay.
That.
Oh, wow.
They're early.
Jeez, they are going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
They only started filming a few weeks ago, and they had slated for a December 2021 release. That's
I honestly, even with some film, I feel like the pre-production was already into effect, but the
had to have
actual
been.
Yeah, so the actual on-set production, I think now is a go, and that usually is a time span of up to about a year. I feel like they have enough time with that and also post-production that they can square something away. I think they got a good timeline.
I like that they're aggressive. I like it. This is also an answer to COVID, but like I like a lot. I've been reading a lot of people like are freaking out and they're like, they're just squeezing everything they can out of Star Wars. And I'm like, yeah, they're a business. And then two is like, like Ryan said, it's like pick and choose what you want.
Yeah. If you don't want to be there for the first 5 series that are coming up and wait for the second half, do whatever you want. By the way, Jim is chiming in. He says it's never too much Star Wars.
Yeah, right.
He's all right with it.
My only worry about it is just like if they all expect them to like maybe every once in a while like connect or whatnot. I just don't want them to. I don't want Disney and everything to overdo themselves and extend themselves so much that it's like things start falling flat and then everything starts crumbling around it because all the footing that they tried to establish just gives out. Like they need to take the time. I like that they're aggressive. I like they're going for it, but take the time you need though and think this out because this can get bad real quick.
Yes, and that was the curse of the sequel trilogy. That's like what broke after the movie was out of theaters.
They rushed it.
And yes, exactly. Well, not only that, yes, they rushed it. Not only that, but it was also like they wrote like 7 or 8 different scripts, filmed all of it, and then we're trying to build the movie in post, as opposed to like they wrote scripts 7 through 9 all at once, and then maybe edited it throughout. But like they didn't know what they were doing. Like. That's why it was like you thought one thing was going to happen, and then it was like, oh, nope, never mind. Like, is Kylo going to be a bad guy? Nope, just kidding. He gets a redemption arc. You know, is Snoke really the bad guy? Nope, he was just a clone. It's actually Palpatine the whole time. Like, that's why it was always like, is it A or B? And we don't know what's good. But, like, they didn't do it like they were tricking you in, like, a good narrative way where you're like, whoa, that was crazy. It was just kind of like, gotcha, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't like that. So that's why I think hopefully they're learning from that mistake and they're planning all of this out if they're trying to do this MCU crossover type of cinematic universe.
Yeah, and Brian did some fact checking for us. He says Lars Mikkelsen was the voice actor for Thrawn back on Rebels. His brother was in the movie Rogue One, as well as the TV series known as Hannibal.
Rogue One? Lars Mikkelsen,
which I'm assuming he's related to Mads Mikkelsen?
Mikkelsen? That's a fun last name. Mikkelsen.
So we'll have to
get over here, Mikkelsen.
Oh, I know this guy. Wait, who did he play?
I would have to think on that for a minute. By the way, as we wrap up here, Jim says, absolutely love your views on the Star Wars universe. Thank you.
That's probably all Spencer. That's
probably Spencer. But I was just trying to be diplomatic and say, hey,
no one cares about me being here. It's fine.
Lars Mikkelsen is the guy who plays Stregobor in the Witcher series. Not to derail this again, but do you guys watch the Witcher stuff? Are you guys Witcher fans?
No, but I need to watch it because it has my man crush on it, known as Henry Frackin' Cavill. So
he's the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that he's like a super nerd, plays World of Warcraft and everything. I love that.
Henry Cavill
He's literally Superman.
He's like
Henry Cavill is hashtag my Superman. So
he could literally level a building by punching the beams, and he's like, "Hold on, I gotta go do this quest real quick." Like, where are you?
Hang on, I got a raid.
Sorry, honey, I'm busy with side quests.
You possess too much power.
Let's do it. Let's do a Witcher podcast thing.
Oh
next.
hell yeah!
Yes.
that is, like I said, another potential video and another potential conversation for another time. But ladies and gentlemen, we want to take this opportunity to say thank you to each and every one of you who have joined us on this journey this season from last season. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Our Way Mandalorian Review, where we share our thoughts, opinions, and speculations about where we think the storyline for the Mandalorian is going to go. Moving forward, as I kind of alluded to at the top of the show, season 2 left us with a couple of cliffhangers. So I think I speak for the council here when I say we're very excited about how some of these cliffhangers are going to be resolved moving forward within season 3 of The Mandalorian. We're also looking forward to seeing what's going to transpire with the leader of the new chapter of the Criminal Empire, with Boba Fett calling the shots at Jabba's palace alongside Fennec, one of the best snipers in the galaxy.
Big bad Boba.
I know. It's ladies and gentlemen, it's a great time to be a nerd. It's a great time to be a fan of all your favorite properties. So keep supporting them, keep watching them, keep commenting, sharing, all that kind of jazz. But before we go, I want to give everyone an opportunity to do something called plugs. So Spencer, where can the good people of the interwebs find you and everything you have coming up?
Oh boy, so I'm not creating a whole bunch of content right now, but I do have stuff in the works. But if you I will be, right, and hopefully I'll be, a part of nerd culture a little bit more, because I love all the stuff that you guys are doing, and thank you so much for having me. But you can find me online. It's just my name, Spencer McSain, MCSAIN. I'm all over Facebook and Instagram. Facebook's probably the best place to find me.
Absolutely.
I like how
anybody.
He did the eyebrow thing. He was like, "Facebook's the best place to find me." Fuck. Like, is that right?
Well, let's go over to your bearded bro over to the side here. Travis Troller, where can the good people find you on the interwebs and everything you have coming up?
Okay, listen, I don't really go on most social media, and then the ones I do go on, my names are too elaborate for me to try to spell out for you. So just follow It's Nerd Culture if you haven't already. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But we're also on other forms of social media, but Ryan's going to get to that. And also, you might want to subscribe to Nerd Culture anyway, because we do a bunch of content wherever it comes from: comic books, movies, video games. We recently just put up a Cyberpunk 2077 review. So if you've been hearing news about that, make sure to go check that out. It stars me and Greg. But then also you can find me over on Lasting Light Media. Yes, that's Lasting Light Media. We just released a episode of Lasting Insight, where we kind of talked about a little discussion just like this. So if you want to hear more about that, go check it out. And always at the bottom of our videos, you can check the links where we have merch. So you can get sweet stuff like this. I mean, look at these guys. They're so happy. They're so happy. Nothing can go wrong. Dude, so good at plugging. So, you know what?
So impressive.
Dude, so impressive, because I talk fast and I don't think. That's going to get me in trouble one day. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. And I just want to say thank you, Star Wars fans, and also not Star Wars fans, because, I mean, we're all special in our own way. But if you're not a Star Wars fan, get on it. I'm done. I could be an auctioneer. 545, 555, 55.
I feel like Travis was almost channeling his inner Shia LaBeouf. Just do it.
Do it. Oh my goodness.
It's one of
do it. Don't make your dreams reality.
It's one of those things. Now, before we go, you can find Greg and I, as well as Travis, as he kind of alluded to a moment ago. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at It's Nerd Culture. New videos are dropping each and every week. On our YouTube channel, check out my podcast. It's called The Nerdcast, where I talk about movies past and what lack there may be of the present. It's available to download on Anchor, Google, Spotify, wherever you download your podcasts. You can find us there. New episodes drop every single Sunday during the week. And also, you can catch us on HWWS Web TV, where new episodes of Battle of the Nerds drop almost every week. We're trying to get that train back on its tracks and keep on rolling.
We're trying over here.
In the year of 2021. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And just to let everyone know, this is our last episode of Our Way Mandalorian Review for now. But when the new season returns in Christmas time, 2021, and let me tell you, having more episodes of Star Wars or anything Star Wars related, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year. So thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your holiday season. We hope to see you back here next year for new episodes of Our Way Mandalorian Review when Season 3 starts to drop on Disney+. So in the meantime, stay healthy, stay strong, stay safe, and remember, as always, This is the way.
This is our way.